Cello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to New Moon Musings for January 21st of 2023. How did you guys like that full wolf moon last month? Or actually earlier, I want to say earlier this month. I know it was extremely powerful and very potent energy for me. I really, really enjoyed it. So this month, the new moon is going to be in Aquarius on January 21st. So what does that mean for us? That means that we are going to be very much focused on technology. We're focusing on beating to the tune of our own drums. We're focusing on thinking outside the box. And I feel that that's the general energy that we want to be connecting with when we are sort of starting off this new moon cycle. Before we get started really quickly, and I'm going to put timestamps in the description box below if you want to skip this intro. For those of you who are joining me for the first time for this, here's how it works. We go through a new moon spread where I pull some tarot cards to get a feel for the collective energies and what you need to know about how those energies are going to affect you during this new moon cycle. We have the new moon, we have the waxing and the waxing crescent and the waxing gibbous. We have the first quarter and the third quarter moons, and we have the waning gibbous and crescent as well. So there are different phases that we'll be exploring, and it's a great way for you throughout the month to kind of tune back in to the video and just sort of get a temperature check on what is going on energetically in the collective, because that helps you to make better decisions for yourself in terms of what's going on for you individually. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in here. And with this particular new moon spread that I do, I always pull what I call a soul card. And the soul card, I'm pulling that first. The soul card is I want to say collectively what we are working through, what we're processing, what we're working towards. So let's see what our soul card is for this particular new moon. Ooh, we've got Sire of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. So this makes a lot of sense considering that there's a lot of concern right now around money and finances. People are worried about the economy. People are seeing different things going on in the world, and everyone's kind of going, oh my God, what does this mean for me? How do I prepare? What's going to happen? And I feel like for us, the soul card coming through this month is setting the tone to understand that this is the Midas touch. This is the everything I touch turns to gold card. And so if we really step into that energy and that space of understanding that I'm not going to get too caught up in all of the fear, all of the potentials, the what ifs, because let's talk about potential. Potential is exciting and awesome, but it's also a zero-sum game. It requires a certain level of action in order for it to become. So I have a friend who says it's a nothing burger. So it's a nothing burger until you decide to add your energy, your action steps, your intentions to it. So I'm going to say, quite frankly, don't add to the fear. Don't feed in any energy into anything that you do not want to actually become, because you have the ability to make everything that you touch turn to gold. And let's talk about that really quickly. It's all about alchemy, right? The art of alchemy is the shifting of lead into gold, or energetically taking one energy, adding your own, and transmuting it into something else that's going to be more in alignment with what you need. So focus on the gold this week, or this moon cycle. Sorry, not this week, but you can focus on it this week too. Just focus on it for the next new moon cycle. So, all right, we are going to now pull our very first card for the new moon. And the new moon this year, or this month, I'm all over the map with my timings today. The new moon this month, like I said, is very Aquarian. So we're trying to think outside the box. Things are going to be sort of, around technology. And we just came out of a Mercury retrograde, and I'm sure you're all really excited to be out of that. So what does this new moon energy bring to us now that we are out of that new moon cycle? And we're a little bit still in the shadow of it, but we're pretty much out of it. So this next new moon cycle, we are we can look forward to peace with our technology. We can look forward to more technological advances that are going to be coming up and announced. Oh my God. Okay. I'm always famous for saying you can't make this shit up. We got Queen of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles is our soul card, and we are starting off this new moon cycle with a bang with the Queen of Pentacles. So Queen of Pentacles is abundance. She's sort of like the sister to the Empress card in the tarot. There's an energy of, I have all of my resources. I have all of my ducks in a row. Come to me for your resource. Come to me for your comfort, for your support. Queen energy always provides a particular level of structure and organization. You know, the Queen makes it happen, right? The Queen makes it happen. So I'm feeling very much that in our new moon for January 21st, and I want to say this is going to lead us into kind of the 22nd and the 23rd as well. It's really important that you pay attention to your foundation, what you're leaning on, what you're stepping on, what you're stepping into in terms of what you're bringing into being or what you're working with tangibly in the physical. This is not, new moon, I feel like, is not a time for you this particular cycle to focus on what you're manifesting or what you're bringing in. And that's weird because that's normally how I roll with this. I feel that this new moon cycle, we're being called to sort of grow where we're planted and really pay attention to the structure that we're working with. This is a time to fortify. This is a time to take a look and say, do I have what I need? Because if I don't, I need to find it. I need to build it, or I need to bring it into the mix. This is a time to strengthen structure, strengthen foundation. And I'm not talking, big structure or established structures. In fact, Aquarius is about tearing all that down and doing things very differently. What I am feeling is this is sort of structure in your own personal life. What are you standing on? Maybe you're having a disagreement with someone and double check. What is it that you're standing your ground on? Is it solid? Is it truthful? Is it helping you to get where you want to be? Look at sort of your work situation. And I don't mean like what's going on at work if there's like a lot of chaos and craziness. That kind of is the way that it is right now in a lot of workplaces. You want to look at my job, my role, my immediate environment. Is it solid? Am I feeling solid in what I'm providing and what I'm doing? Is it what I want to be doing? So I feel like this window of time, this, 3 days, 3.5 days-ish that you're in that new moon energy, it's really evaluating what you're standing on, because this is setting the tone for, it means basically we're opening up to some new stuff that's coming in. And I really feel a lot of creative energy, creative focus. Our theme, one of our themes for this year is creative fusion. So you can't really create something and really bring it into being in a solid way unless you know that you can sustain it and support it. So that's what's coming through for the new moon. And I also decided that this month I was going to, I did this before, I'm going to pull an affirmation for each of the 4 quarters of the new moon cycle. So we are pulling, these affirmations come from the Moon Magic Oracle from Stacey DeMarco. So let's grab, oh yeah, this is popping out like crazy. I have a balanced relationship with time. I use time well. So I feel like this affirmation is coming through because if you're talking about structure, we can very much get caught up in the monkey mind of time. And what does that mean for us? The structure of time. Are we trying to beat the clock? Are we rushing into something? When you are fortifying a foundation, think about a bridge building, or laying a foundation for a house. It takes the time that it takes. If you don't put your focus and your energy into that, what you find is you have cracked foundation. You have a bridge that will crumble, with too much weight. So use your time well. Do not rush. Do not push yourself into anything. Okay, we have our waxing crescent of January, and it's going to kind of stay in. Again, these times are relative because the moon moves sort of fairly relatively. There's fluidity to this. So I want to say 3 to 3.5 days is sort of the energy. Sometimes you can stay in the new moon energy a little longer and then move in, but just sort of keep it all relative. We've got Seven of Wands. Okay, so Seven of Wands is typically a card of defense, but what I'm actually seeing here is rather than this dragon trying to defend its young, I feel more like it's standing on its own, and people are coming to get their wands relit by this person's wand. It almost feels like the energy of I'm coming to watch you speak, because what you say, the words that you say resonate with me, and it helps me to stay on track or to be on purpose, or it gives me a solid direction. I feel confident in what I'm doing. So I feel like the energy here is about how are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding yourself with? Where are you getting your fuel to be able to move into, I want to say, this next cycle and pattern? And if we're coming out of that, okay, I've paid attention to my foundation. I've chosen to, lay a more solid foundation for myself in terms of my visions and my goals. Now it's about paying attention to how I'm going to fuel and support and sustain the energy of what I'm moving into. And I feel very much like the collective during this time is going to be going through, I keep hearing a little bit of a shift. And I feel like it's a shift, not only energetically, but I feel like there's something physical that's coming up that it's kind of like something physical happens in one part of the world, and it's the ripple effect. We all feel it, or the butterfly effect. The butterfly flutters its wings, and on the other side of the world, they feel it. That kind of energy. And I want to say to you, on an individual level, what you want to be doing is being aware of what is transpiring out in the world, and then really making a choice as to what you're going to feed your ego, the ego voice, what you're going to feed your heart space, what you're going to feed your energetic space, and what decisions you're going to make as a result of what you're feeding. So if you're eating the fear, you're going to be feeding the fear, and you're going to be creating more fear. I want to say to you here as well, 7 is important. Whenever we pull a 7 this year, it's very significant because it is mirroring the energy of this year of 2023. Numerologically, 2023 breaks down into a number 7. And so it is, I talk about it all the time, it's the prototype energy. It's that, okay, before I put this into mass production, I need to dot my I's and cross my T's, because any oversights, any mistakes, it's going to be a lot harder to fix once, there's 50,000 of them out there versus this one. So from a manifestation perspective and an energetic perspective, it's kind of saying to the universe, all right, universe, I'm getting ready to put something out there, but I'm just dotting my I's and crossing my T's to make sure that everything is exactly as I need it to be, because we do have the power and the ability to be very clear with the universe on what we want to experience. We are all co-creators. And so I feel like that's what this card is really about, is it's giving you the opportunity to say, all right, I've laid the foundation. Now, how do I want to feed, how do I want to fuel myself as I'm sort of moving forward? Even though this is a time in this cycle, this is a time of action oriented, putting the action in, that is where I want to say our energy is strongest, is in that momentum space. I want to say the action is really in giving considered thought and then considered action based on that thought to what it is you're actually trying to get to. This is not a time to throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. If that was the time, this would be a card of defense. You would be defending yourself from, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to, try something random and hope that it works. No, these wands, these energies, these individuals are coming to this person, these people, for the guidance, for the support, for the nourishment, for the confidence, and they're receiving it. So really own that space and understand that you're in the process of building something. You're in the process of moving towards something. And that's how that 7 of Wands is going to help you. Okay, so we've got our first quarter moon. Oh my God, okay. So we've got Three of Pentacles. So we got a lot of pentacle energy. So what does pentacle energy mean? It's the realm of earth, the realm of the material, the physical. I like to say it's thoughts becoming things. It is that manifestation coming into reality, or it's looking at what you've already manifested and either deciding I want to expand and grow upon that, or been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, I'm ready to expand into something else or to create something new. And this is a card of collaboration. So definitely feeling here when we are talking about the first quarter moon, we are talking about collectively coming together to make some decisions. And I feel like this is going to be very energetic, and it's also going to be very emotionally based, that whatever this is that I'm seeing coming up collectively, an action step that happens or an event that occurs that causes everyone to sort of ask themselves, what are we feeding into here? What do we want to feed into? How are we nourishing ourselves? There's really going to be a sense of a coming together and to making some decisions. Now, I don't feel that this is like a global event. What I would say to you is you're going to notice just the energy in these few days that people are really reaching out to other people to ask for advice, support, assistance, direction. And you'll notice it in your own individual life. I'm seeing a lot of work-related stuff where you're gonna kind of notice people are wanting to work together a little bit more. It might just be on a particular issue, not necessarily a particular project, or it could be as big as that. But even you introverts who like to do things on your own, or I'm going to say lovingly control freaks, because that's what I am too, you're going to notice I really need some guidance, or I really need a little bit of help in order to, get this moving and get this going. So I feel like this energy is what we really need to step into and own, because 3 is all about that creation piece. And again, we are co-creating. And of course, we're going to be co-creating for the whole year. It's not like, or for the rest of our lives, we have the ability to co-create. But what this is saying is it's putting extra emphasis on, okay, you're establishing what is it that I'm trying to co-create? What kind of experience am I trying to have? And I feel like this is connected to not big goals, more like little goals, little things that you're trying to accomplish, little things that you're trying to check the boxes off, because you're trying to clear your plate to make room for that bigger goal focus. And I feel like that's what we're tapping into individually, is checking off some of the little boxes, and, more hands make less work. And that's what I'm feeling is coming up. So in your own world, I feel like the question you're wanting to ask yourself is, what's on my to-do list? What are some of the things that have been kind of hanging around for a while that maybe it's plaguing me? Like maybe it's in the back of my mind constantly and I can't rest, I can't relax. Maybe for some of you who might be experiencing some anxiety that you can't quite put your finger on, this is saying, okay, check off some of those to-do lists. You'll feel good. You'll feel so good when some of those things are off your plate, and you'll be able to breathe. And I feel like this is all about creating space for what's coming in. So how are you creating space in your life during this time? And then this is our first quarter moon. So I'm going to pull an affirmation card and see what the messaging is. Okay, well, I pulled one, but my eyes looked on the other one. So I'm going to go with that. So here's what we got. I know my shadow side, and I work to willingly transform aspects of it. Okay, this is a big one. So I feel like in relation to this 3 of Pentacles, what this is talking about is not so much the deep, dark shadow, as much as the, where do I kind of get in my own way? Where do I sabotage myself? Where do I get stuck in a pattern and a cycle because I'm, afraid to move forward, or I'm feeling, I'm procrastinating because it's something that I don't like doing. So the shadow side, I don't feel like it's the dun, dun, dun. I feel more like it's, okay, I'll use this as an example. Years ago when I still kind of like was light business, this was before I was doing this, and I owned a cooking business, and I also taught voice lessons and sang. And when tax time came around, like I always had the idea in my head, okay, this year I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to have an envelope. I'm going to sit down every month and I'm going to, record all of these receipts and whatever. Never happened because numbers and math, I'm like, ugh, it's so boring. I would rather do fun things. And by the end, by tax time, it was so stressful and there would be like mounds of paperwork and I'd have to go back into it. I would procrastinate and I would have so much anxiety for like 3 months because I procrastinated. So this is inviting you to say, take a look at those areas where you might be getting in your own way and move through it. Okay. So now we are in our waxing gibbous. And waxing gibbous is the phase right before the full moon. And I would say to you, it's not the most potent, but it's the time, it's kind of like I want to say it's like the last lap. It's the energy that you need to sort of push through in order to be able to achieve that sort of that full moon energy. Ooh, beautiful. We've got the Lovers card. And so the Lovers is all about awareness of other. It's about reflection. So how I see myself in another's eyes, how another sees me through their eyes. So I'm really feeling a lot of energy here around reflection, self-reflection, and how you are being mirrored out into the world and how you're receiving back what it is that you're giving. I'm going to say reciprocity here, balance, give and take. This is going to be a period of time where you're really going to want to be, and I'm using this word on purpose, hyper vigilant about what you're presenting and how you're presenting it out into the world. I don't mean don't be authentic. I feel like we want to be authentic. That's what we're leaning into more, is that authenticity. You really want to make sure that what is coming out is not reactionary, that you are giving thought. And again, this is an Aquarius new moon. So if we're thinking about that particular energy, it's understanding that sometimes I need to do things a little bit differently than the status quo. And I feel like the Lovers is coming in to remind us of that, to give us an opportunity to say, is what I'm presenting really reflective of who I am? And when we're looking at our, we just kind of came out of this 3 of Pentacles energy with the collaboration and asking for help in terms of, or asking for assistance in terms of, checking some things off the box or boxes off the list. You're creating space. Well, you're creating space now. You want to make sure that that space is exactly what it needs to be in order to be able to bring in something that you can foundationally sustain and support. So it's all coming together. It's all of these cards are really leaning into each other. What I'm really drawn to with this particular depiction is I'm really drawn today to the water. So I'm looking at the dragon in the water, and this dragon is sort of, I want to say, under the surface and coming up from the surface. So I feel very much that this particular window of time, and if we're looking at the waxing gibbous, that's going to be, I gave you the wrong timing before. I guess that's like the 3rd or the 4th of February. I said the wrong time in the first one here, so I apologize for that. But the 3 days sort of around that, the 3rd, the 2nd, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd kind of energy, what you're really looking at here is what is bubbling up from the surface? What is coming up that wants to feel the air of Aquarius? Aquarius is an air sign. What want from your subconscious, from your, I want to say, your ocean of emotion? What wants to be transmuted through water or through air, through the element of air? So we talk a lot about fire and fire being transformative, but air can also transform different things as well. If air hits water that's been stale and stagnant for a while, it creates a bacteria that grows, right? So there are many different ways. And on the flip side, in good ways, air is oxygen. It's what gives us life. It's what sustains life. And so if we're talking about, foundational here with the Queen of Pentacles, now we're looking at, okay, this is rising to the surface. How can I incorporate this into my life in a way that is going to be sustainable and beneficial? So we are also talking about reflection, and reflection is always, okay, what part of this dragon sees themselves in that dragon and vice versa, right? They come from 2 different environments, and yet intrinsically they're the same. Inside, they're the same. And I want to say, look at your heart space. When you're running into conflict in your life, or you're running into a snag in your life, take a look at the other person or take a look at the situation And don't look at it with your two eyes. Look at it through the filter of the heart space. Is their heart wanting the same things as your heart? And sometimes you run into a situation where no, you're running into a person who does not have your best interests at heart and is a little bit mean. But for the most part, the majority of people that you interact with are loving, they might be a little misguided. They might be a little self-serving, but ultimately we all have the same parts. So review somebody's heart space, tap into somebody's heart space, not going just on what it is that you're seeing, going on what it is that you're feeling. And a good way to do this, and I do this quite often, I do this all the time with clients. I connect my heart space to their heart space when I am getting ready to tune in. And it gives me a completely different perspective. And I'm clairsentient. One of my clairs is the clairsentient. So I feel things in my body, and I can not only see, what's going on in their world, but I can feel their heart. I can feel their soul. This too can be you. This is not specific to me. This is for everyone. So ask your guides to help you to tap into the heart space. All right, so now we are at the full moon, and the full moon is on the 5th of February, and the full moon is at 1:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And drum roll, please. Let's see what we got. And our full moon this cycle is in Leo. So when we're talking full moon, it's the potency of our energy, all of those things that we have been working towards. This is the height. This is the peak of that. And when we're talking about Leo, we're talking about shining our lights, being those big lights out into the world, service. So I feel like there's going to be a focus on service. Oh, interesting. Another pentacle. We got 6 of Pentacles. So this is reinvestment. So in this full moon, I feel very much that the question that we are all asking ourselves is, am I investing enough in myself? Am I investing enough in my own self-care? When I'm reviewing all of these things that I'm involved in and where my commitments are in my life, am I really committing to things that bring me a lot of joy? Am I committing to things that are actually getting me towards my own personal goals? Where is my commitment status to the collective? Because this is a year, even though it's very, I want to say, individual in our own paths and goals, overall, this year is very much about the collective and about reconnecting and being in service, giving yourself the opportunity to provide. And you're doing that in many ways, in the ways that you, I want to say, walk through the world. So anything that you're doing for yourself, also the collective is going to benefit from it. So I feel like the full moon is inviting us in this particular cycle to really get clear on exactly what you want to be experiencing, what you want to be putting out into the world, what you want to be receiving. And I'm going to say to you, the onus is on you. It's not on anyone else. I feel like that's a really significant message for a lot of us. I feel it in like I'm getting buzzy, so it's for me too. So I feel like what you want to be really focusing on in the full moon is awareness of self, paying attention. Oh, sorry for the earthquake. That's Neo. Paying attention in some really big ways to ownership and accountability of what you're actually, what's the best way to say this? Put your money where your mouth is. Are you investing in things that make sense to invest in? And I feel like there are some of you out there that are going to hear this message and you're going to say, you know what? Wow. I don't know why, because everything was fine a week ago, but you saying this, I feel now like I have to drop, A, B, or C that is in my life. I have to drop it because it's no longer serving the collective and it's no longer serving me in terms of how I am contributing to the collective. I also want to say that the full moon, this particular cycle is actually going to be, I'm going to say, pretty tame in terms of, sometimes with full moon, there's a lot of craziness and chaos. There's a lot of, and sort of friction in the energy and all that stuff. I don't feel that with this. I feel more like the full moon energy is encouraging you. It's kind of like giving you that that not so gentle nudge to move forward, to be visible, to be accountable. So I want to say just prepare for that and embrace it. Embrace it. We don't have to be afraid to be seen. We don't have to be afraid to contribute and to be really intentional about what we're putting out into the collective, because the collective needs it. The collective needs you and needs what you're providing. All right, so we're tapping in now to our affirmation. Oh, this is the one. Affirmation for the full moon. Oh, cool. I don't think I've pulled this one before. She's really pretty. I am connected to the earth and all life around me. Okay, this makes sense. A moon goddess Artemis, actually. She's super pretty. So makes sense with the Six of Pentacles. It's really about paying attention. And where do we get our foundation and our support from? We're connected to the earth and all life around us, just like the Queen of Pentacles, who's all about the earth, all about Mother Nature. You know, I said she's like the sister to the Empress, and the Empress is all about the abundance, the joy, it's the cornucopia of having access to all of the resources around you. So you are connected to the earth and all life around you. If you need something to sort of hang on to or maybe to root into a little bit during your full moon energy, root into Mother Earth, get out into nature. I feel like that's a really clear message. Okay, now we've got our Waning Gibbous. And, oh, I love it. We've got the Fool. And what a great way to sort of come off of that full moon energy. The waning phase of the moon is more again, it's not like you're not taking action, but you're just being more reflective. You're taking a little bit of time. It's an opportunity to observe, are the things that I just created in this first half of the cycle, are they needing time to percolate? Do I need to tweak things? It's not really a time where you need to be pushing through so much. And I love that we got the Fool card, because the Fool is all about new beginnings. The Fool is all about that blind leap of faith. And I want to say this particular window of time is an invitation for each of us to really connect with our spirit selves, our soul selves, our high self, your intuitive guidance, your source, however you want to connect with that, your dream team. And it's really very much, I want to say, about when we're talking about new beginnings, and of course this is a 0, we talked about potential. So this is about potential. You have the opportunity to explore whatever you want. It's going to require a little bit of action in order to make it happen, but you're taking the time right now to observe the landscape and see where you want to go next. I feel very much from a spiritual or an energetic perspective, this is going to be a time where all of us are going to kind of go a little bit within before we go out. So it's kind of like we get sucked back a little bit in order to sort of move forward. I'm thinking of the click, 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 click of the roller coaster. You feel the anticipation, you feel the inertia of you're going up, but you're feeling pulled back into the seat, and then all of a sudden, there's a release, right? So I feel like we're definitely being prepared for something. And I feel like this is all on an individual level. Of course, yes, the collective, but I feel on an individual level, it's going to be uncanny how, I even feel like maybe restaurants are going to notice a weird downturn for this 2 or 3 day period where it's almost like nobody really wants to go out or nobody's really sort of engaging. And I feel like a big part of that is because when we're in our Leo, sort of that Leo full moon, we are shining our lights. We're shining our lights brightly, and our lights are revealing things to us that we need to know. And so now you need a little bit of time to sort of evaluate what's been revealed so that you can decide what you want to do with it. Do I want to explore it, or do I want to go a different way? And so I feel like that's why the Fool is coming up. Also during this window of time, I keep hearing something sort of political, but it feels like I keep seeing like United Nations or something. So I feel like there's going to be some announcement that comes out. I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing. I want to say the announcement just gives everybody, I want to say, an opportunity to pause a little bit, to give some thought to what that actually means. And is that a good direction for the world to go? How do I, on an individual level, feel about what is happening there? So neither good nor bad. I want to say it's just more reflective, being aware, being present with what is coming into your space at that time. All right, and so now we are at our last quarter moon. We're stepping into the energy here of the 13th. So that's where our last quarter moon is coming into the mix. So very much, I feel the energy of the 13 as well for a couple of reasons. 13 is a number that, community-wise we react to. Whether we react to it in a good way or a bad way, there's a reaction. So I feel that there's energy around that. Also, when we break that down numerologically, it's a 4. Foundation. And so I feel this is bringing us sort of full circle into how we started this cycle out. It's establishing more foundation. So let's see what we've got here. Oh my God. 5 of Pentacles. So we're just pulling all the Pentacle cards. I swear to you guys, I am shuffling. Like this is not me making this happen. So again, you can't make this shit up. So we got 5 of Pentacles. And here's what we got going on in the last quarter. 5 of Pentacles is a card of worry. 5 of Pentacles is anxiety. It is I'm burying my head in the sand because I'm frustrated or I'm freaked out and I'm so in my head. So anxiety is a great analogy for this. I mean, that's why it is this card. When you're anxious, you don't think clearly. When you're anxious, it's hard to breathe. It's hard to focus. Right? You're kind of frenetic. You're reacting versus responding. Here's the thing about 5s. 5 is all about change and transformation. And I feel that this card is coming through in the last quarter to say, any changes that you need to make regarding how you're feeling about your reactions to what is going on within the collective, or maybe what's going on individually, you have the power to co-create. This card is coming up as a reminder, and I want to say it's not a gentle reminder. This is a swift kick in the butt reminder that, hey, if you don't like something that's going on, it's time to change it. And you have the power to change it. You have the power to change direction. Also with this card, they're all very clearly like moving quickly in a direction. It's almost like they're running from something. And they're running right past all of these gold coins, right? They're running right past the pentacles. And, maybe they're looking for the pentacles and they're running past it. Maybe they're not looking for pentacles and running past it. The point is they're focused on the wrong thing. They're focused on fear. They're focused on their monkey mind. They're focused on the ego voice that is saying, oh my God, you're in so much danger and you got to put a stop to all this. I'm here to tell you folks, there's like a small percentage of you that might actually be true, and your guides are going to let you know. Your intuition is going to let you know that. But for the majority of us, the major majority of us, this is about saying, hey, you're totally focused on the wrong things. Open your eyes because what you're looking for is right there. Or you're moving so quickly with tunnel vision that you're not seeing all of the amazing stuff that is available to you on the path. So this is, I want to say, a not so gentle butt kick for all of us to really pay attention in this particular period of time. So I was talking about the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, maybe even, I feel like the 8th, the 9th, that energy, even the 10th, that energy that we're looking at, maybe even start on the 7th of that. Look around you. Look for the things that are, I want to say, working on your behalf. Look for all things in your environment and look at them in different ways. I'm looking at this orange and I think about the orange that I can peel the orange and I can eat it and it will give me some refreshment. So it's like having a drink as well as eating something at the same time. So it serves 2 purposes. But we think about throwing away the peel. Well, maybe you're going to look at that orange now and you're going to say, I actually need some kind of substance that's going to keep away this is a weird analogy, but keep the cats off the furniture. They don't like citrus. Maybe I can use the peel and rub the peel or keep some of the peel around the furniture, certain areas of the furniture, so that they kind of stay away from that. So it's being resourceful. It's looking at everyday things. It's looking at things that you see on a regular basis and making the attempt, making the purposeful intention to look at them differently, because you are in a space where miracles happen every single day and we just bulldoze through. So don't bulldoze through. Very interesting. Okay. So that was our waning. So that was our, where am I? Oh, that was our last quarter. Right. Okay. So last quarter, we're going to pull an affirmation. I accept renewal and delight in fresh starts. And it's actually the new moon card, which I think is interesting. So 5 of Pentacles, this actually makes a lot of sense. I accept renewal and delight in fresh starts. Open your eyes because you can start something new. You can change your mind midstream if something isn't working for you. You don't have to run towards the fear, because that's in essence what you're doing. When you're running away, you're actually choosing fear. You're running towards fear rather than, I want to say, looking at the whole picture and saying, what is the truth here? What is the truth of the matter? The truth of the matter is, if I'm running so quickly, I'm missing my presence. I'm missing my now. I'm missing what's happening in my world at this time. So that's really important. Okay, we are at our waning crescent. We are finishing our new moon cycle with another 5, folks, another 5. So this is, again, 5 and 5 back to back. It is reinforcing that message of you're in charge of your co-creation. You're in charge of the experiences that you're having. Yeah, the world brings, the universe brings certain things across your path that I'm going to say maybe, the cognizant you didn't ask for, but it's coming into your path for a reason. It's how you choose to handle it, how you choose to face it or to not face it. That is where the lesson or the growth happens or the experience happens. Think about it from an experience. So we've got 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands is a card of focus or scattered energies. And what I'm really feeling here is when we're talking about this waning crescent energy, over the course of those 3 or 4 days, it's really about saying, all right, what am I setting my sights on? What am I putting my focus on? We already talked about, okay, I'm not running to fear. I'm not focusing on fear. Instead, I'm going to stop and pay attention to what's around me because I can always turn things around. I can always use resources in my environment. If I look at them differently, if I get creative in that approach, I can make them work for me. And the 5 of Wands is saying yes, and then get clear on your focus. The only way to get out of chaos is to be organization, to be organized. And I'm not knocking those who struggle with organization, those with ADHD. That's not what I'm talking about here. It's more like, for you guys with the ADHD, it's hyperfocus, right? You hyperfocus on one thing. This is about just choosing something that feels good as you're heading towards your particular goal. It's understanding that, okay, I have laid the foundation out. The foundation is here for me to really, I want to say, be in that King of Pentacles energy where everything I touch turns to gold. If everything I touch turns to gold, it means that I can't lose. It means that there's success is assured. So I just need to keep my eye on that prize. I need to focus on what matters to me, not focus on what matters to the rest of the world or, what other people's opinions are of what I need to focus on. I need to get connected with my vision. I need to get connected with source. I need to get connected with my soul and allow my soul to guide my path. I feel very much that this particular period of time, you're going to notice a lot of people in your world that are spinning. There are going to be a lot of people that are, I want to say, in their own tornadoes. And not your circus, not your monkeys. Yeah, you can help, but determine how you want to help. You don't have to get sucked into the tornado. Don't get sucked into someone else's trauma or drama or problems. It's not yours to fix or to heal. What you need to do, and it will help them much more than if you're diving in and getting involved, to be the rock, to be the individual who stands strong and stands firm, or to be the individual who pursues their own passion. Because that person who's in chaos might watch your example and say, I want to do more of that. And what's your secret? Well, my secret is I focus on this. Yeah, all this other stuff is going on around me. I can't fix that. I can't change that. What I can change is what I focus on. And this is what I'm doing. So I feel like for a lot of us, we are going to be in places and spaces during this particular time of being observed, being watched, being teachers through our own example, through living our own lives. And for some of you, you're going to be needing to look for people who are not like they have it all together, more that you can see that they're focused. And what they're focused on is working. It's getting them where they want to go. Those are the people that you want to emulate. You don't want to suck their energy. It's not about taking their energy. It's more about saying, okay, you're doing something that I'm not. And I'd like to be doing a little more of that so that I can bring a little more order to chaos here, and find my center, find my core, find my passion, find the soul direction that I'm seeking, because that's what it's all about. I feel like it's really that soul direction energy. All right, guys, that is our new moon reading for the January 21st, 2023. I apologize for being a little scattered with the timing. It's been happening to me a lot more lately where I really have a hard time doing I want to say the everyday 3D, obvious, logical, rational stuff. But I feel like it means that the reading is much more potent. So we're going to go with that. Sending everyone so much love. I hope you have the most amazing new moon, keeping in mind Aquarius, walking to the beat of the tune of your own drum, and the full moon in Leo. How are you shining your light, and what is that light reflecting back to you? What is it that you're seeing that you might want to act upon as you're setting yourself up for that next new moon? Sending everyone so much love. Have an amazing one. We'll see you next time. Ciao.